Well, there is a new danger from the volcano erupting on Hawaii's Big Island today. Lava flowing into the ocean is creating a cloud of toxic fumes. Molten rock combines with seawater to form something called lays. Now, they contain hydrochloric acid and tiny particles of glass. Anyone near it can suffer irritation in their lungs and have problems breathing. Scott McLean is a reporter with CNN, and he is in Hawaii, joins me now. So, Scott, an incredible scene right behind you. Give me a sense of what's going on in that area.
Yeah, hey Natasha, we really have a great vantage point to see the big picture here in Hawaii. Let me show you what we're seeing. So all of this lava that we're talking about in the lower rift zone is coming, at least from where we are, from this big fissure. This is actually 5 fissures combined into one. It looks like a giant out of control fire hose. You can see the lava going, probably 20, 30 meters into the air. And then all of that has to go somewhere. So it's sort of cascading down into these lava flows that eventually reach the ocean. And all of this dark stuff that you see here, this is lava that was flowing just a few days ago. In fact, if you go about 50 meters or so in from the edge, from where the brush there meets that lava, that dried up lava, that's where we were doing our live shots reporting just 3-4 days ago. So you get a sense of how quickly this moves. Now, if you look over by the horizon, that white smoke there, that's the lays that you were talking about. There's 2 entry points where the lava is actually entering the Pacific Ocean, and as you said, it creates this really nasty mix of hydrochloric acid, steam, and then those tiny particles of glass, and so it can be really, really dangerous. And so obviously authorities, they've closed roads in that area. They want to keep people away because of that exactly. And I want to show you one other thing as well, and it's this other fissure that really looks like a giant sparkler. It's harder to see during the day, but you still get a sense. Look at the hill right beside it. That is all lava that has come out of the ground and created this hill. So we've been watching this now for the past 8 days or so. You get a sense of just how much lava has actually come out. And then every so often, you can't hear it now, but you will hear these, again, you can hear the earth sort of breathing there, but every so often you will hear these really violent, loud explosions. And just to give you a sense of how violent those are and how dangerous, we spoke to a woman over the weekend who lives maybe half a kilometer or so from where this fissure is going off, and her windows had actually been blown out, 2 of them, by the sheer force of this. And so if people are not moved by the lava, this woman obviously had to move out of her house for safety. Well, then people, they're moving because of the gas, the sulfur dioxide, that really pungent rotten egg smell. It can actually be really dangerous. And so a lot of people are leaving when the winds shift and they're getting that sulfur dioxide because you just don't want to be breathing it in. It is generally not good for you. It might not leave lifelong lasting effects, but it can be potentially deadly if you're trapped in an area where the concentrations are really high. And one other thing that I should point out, and this is a bit of positive news here, is that at the summit of Kilauea, so that's about 20 miles or so away from where we are, and the explosions there that are creating those massive ash clouds that you've, I'm sure, seen photos of. Again, there's one of those explosions. You get a sense of just how loud that is. It is startling every time. But those explosions at the summit, at least though, Natasha, they've become less frequent and less powerful. The problem, though, is that there's the potential that, there's pressure building up for an even bigger explosion down the road, but we just don't know.
Scott, I have to ask you about that explosion. Did you feel that when it was happening? It's startling from time to time. That was one of the louder ones, but some of the smaller ones, we've been watching this for so long, you don't even really notice. You kind of become immune to it, but the impact of those is so strong, and it's not like it happens, once an hour or once a day. They're happening, once every minute or two. So for us standing here, you kind of get used to them, but even still, some of the louder ones really kind of catch you off guard. Yeah, it certainly caught us off guard. Okay, so finally, I just want to ask you about what the officials are telling people who are on the Big Island that are dealing with explosions like that. Yeah, so what surprised me the most is that there is sort of this evacuation area, but it's not being very heavily enforced. If you want to stay in your home, you can. That said, a lot of people are leaving as a precaution, but for instance, the deck that I'm on right now, we're maybe a mile away from this giant fissure that is spewing lava. We're, maybe just about a half a kilometer from this lava field. No one here has left. No one here has plans to leave. Of course, there could be other fissures that open up in this area, but people here, they're content to take their chances. I've heard a lot of people say, look, just sort of the attitude around here. They're not going to leave until they're really forced to go, not by officials necessarily, but by Mother Nature.
CNN's reporter Scott McLean on Hawaii's Big Island. Thank you so much for your time.